entertaining conversations with me, your host Guru Brando, and sometimes co-host, always co-host, most of the time co-host, always wife, Beth, Lady Elizabeth. And this is part two, side B, to the premiere of season 4, because we ran into some technical difficulties, you could say, and we froze. I'm sure it has something to do with our kooky house. And that's
kooky
something.
It is.
Yeah, our kooky house that likes to manifest smells. Right? We manifest smells, don't we?
I think everybody does, yes.
No. That's not what I mean. I mean this house in general manifests spells. Shit, y'all. I can't talk tonight. What I'm actually talking about is our smoker in the house.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, before we got cut off, we were talking about how you write basically paranormal fiction stories,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted you to elaborate on the whole paranormal thing. And what I can say to that is, you've experienced a lot of paranormal crap being with me. We've been together the past 20 years.
Yes.
And so that's a whole lot of time to experience stuff. And you had made mention that we have a lot of experience that seems like it wasn't so long ago, but it really was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you think about our time on Austin Street, that was right when we got married. That was 2002.
Yes, it was.
And this is 2021. So yeah, you start talking years, and we're going to have a right wedding when we renew our vows. So I have to make some bills, pay some bills, so we can start saving for that wedding.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, and then that you can include that in your life story that Carol needs to write for you. Right? Because we have a whole lot that we can talk about, but we don't really know how interesting it is until somebody's like, "What? Y'all did what?" Like you were a paratrooper.
Yeah.
And most people, who meet you, they look at you and, "What? You were a paratrooper?" Because what is the common misconception?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, I don't know really why it takes people a second to realize that I've done a certain thing, like carry somebody down some stairs.
Yeah,
You
like
really
whenever.
did that? You really did
Yeah,
that?
like whenever.
Yes, I did that.
I passed out, and you had to get me from the top floor to the bottom floor when we lived at Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
And the paramedics were like, "How did you get," at the time, her downstairs? And you were like, "Fireman hold," and so people have underestimated you most of your life.
It feels like it.
Yeah. Well, every story you've told me, your one offense has been that people didn't perceive you as, who you were. And so to
It's a
have
secret,
to, yeah,
so I can stay mysterious.
right.
No one people know who I am.
Yeah,
Only
you're
a
the
small inner circle ever gets to know.
you're the unassuming person in the corner. That's scary. I don't like that at all. I don't like thinking about that. Um, okay, so whatever I think about your life story, I have in my mind, if you had like a book cover for your story, I have something in my mind, and I want to see if it matches sort of what you're thinking. Okay, so I don't want to suggest anything before I hear what you think your book cover would be.
I think that if I could figure out how to draw a picture of chaos.
Well, what
That'd
would
be a
your
good
picture
book
of
cover.
chaos be?
Gosh.
Think about it. I got time.
It would
It's
probably
date night.
be like a cloud, and then inside that would be little aspects of everything, like maybe,
Like
an
a
army,
dust cloud
an
or
army
a
of-
cloud?
I don't know, maybe a.
Define it. I want to visualize it.
Well, if it's chaotic, it'd be like a storm cloud.
Okay.
and it would have maybe symbols or images, of aspects of my life, like being born in Germany.
What
And,
would that symbol be?
Um,
The German crest?
maybe the German flag.
Okay. So in that cloud's a German flag. What else?
Army insignias. There go
Rank.
the dogs.
The dogs would be in there somewhere because we've always had chaos with the
That
dogs.
means somebody let them out of the room.
I did. I let them
Okay.
out of the room so they could do exactly what they're doing. Being dogs indoors, right? They're
Right.
being dogs indoors. We chose them, so I can't even get mad about it, and I can't put them in the bedroom and make them be still because they're dogs. And they're telling us right now that somebody just came in. It sounds like little children's, so it's probably Lucas in tow.
Probably.
Lucas is chaos.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about chaos, right? So he's chaos like you, but only because he puts a lot of things in the cloud. And figuratively speaking for you, but for me, it's literal. So my chaos is all uploaded to the cloud. So what I do is everything that I'm thinking and feeling goes in notes. And they're all uploaded to the cloud now instead of keeping them under my desk.
Right.
So I have like books and volumes of just shit. Basically this. What we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Just all of those chaotic thoughts.
What was your idea for the cover?
Nope, you're going to keep going. So you would have just all these symbols in a cloud. A chaos cloud would be yours. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because it's trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I did a lot of different things. And it's, from sacking groceries, to going to a third world country.
How many different things do you think is enough? Like when you think about, because you said you've done a lot of different things. How do you determine that? That's what we were talking about in part one. We were talking about how do you determine, how great it is or how interesting it is if your only perspective is what it is, right?
Right.
So give us some perspective on that. What do you think the standard is?
I can't say what the standard is, and what I think it might be is I think the standard is people grow up in a town and they live in that town for most of their life, or at least they're at least until they're an adult, and then they either stay or they move out and move on. And I think it's it's only the military people that really move around as much as we do, like nomads.
Like nomads? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because I don't know what it's like to live in a single town. I think this is the longest we've ever lived in a single town.
It really is the longest.
Because we lived in Greenville from, they lived in Greenville a long time, but I was only there for a few years and then I left. So I was there from, I think it was about 4 years, 14 to 18.
14 to 18? I'm going to swap this. So just keep talking.
And then, and then I took off in the military. I don't know, I couldn't sit still. I had to get out of there. I couldn't. Even when we moved back to Greenville, I had to get out of there. I was like that lady on an airplane. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
You really were. And
I couldn't stand it.
do you think that that's partially what led to your decision to get back in? Is you felt stuck in, oh my God,
Yeah,
stuck in Texas again?
Stuck in nowhere, Texas.
Oh, I can't believe I just did that again.
Why you gotta keep breaking the monitor like that?
I'm not breaking the monitor, you jerk face. It's coming unplugged because I have jank cords everywhere.
Jank.
Jank. And
I don't guess anybody's really watching.
Well, I don't care if they are not. I'm watching. And somebody will watch it sometime, Don't be condemning people before they've had a chance.
Condemning anybody.
Some people are on their date nights and they don't want to spend it with us.
Right?
I don't know that I ended up exactly in the same spot as I started.
Good job.
Whatever, but oh no, I didn't. See, look, now Miss Carol can have a full view of me and you and the chinchillas when they act stupid. Okay, so my idea of a book cover for you is not at all that. Our good friend Mandy gave you a coffee mug
Mm-hmm.
that defines what I think your book cover would be. And what does it say? What does it say?
It says, if you were a book, it would be in fine print, I think.
Yes, that's exactly what it says. And that resonates with me with you because that is exactly how I view you. Down to the point of when you and I got married. Before we got married, I had a nickname for you. And nicknames for me meant that you had value because it wasn't that I didn't want to learn your name. It's that I actually picked out a trait so I would never forget you. So no matter where I went in life, no matter what happened to me, I could know somebody by their nickname. It's like not being a narc. You know, knowing your first name or addressing you by your first name's professional. You know, you could be a narc then. You know, so it's like I called you Jimmy, and then I started calling you Jimmy James, and then it was Jimmy James Jr. And it was all because your dad's name's James and your name was James.
Yeah.
And your family called you Jimmy, but they called you Little Jimmy.
Mm.
And I wasn't about to call you Little Jimmy.
I could have been a rapper.
You could have been. But sometimes I called you Jims. Sometimes I called you J3. But it was all regarding kind of your name. And one of the questions in here that I came across whenever I found that one was, is your name important? And or do you think your name's important? And I think names are super important, especially whenever somebody modifies them to suit your character. And so if you think about fine print, what in your mind symbolizes that? A fine printed book. What would the book be about if it was in fine print?
Something romance, I guess. I don't know.
That's right. So now do you see why I accept that? And so for me, I see like the winding road, you know, of trees up to, you know, the house, you know, the big beautiful, you know, manor or whatever the hell mansion, you know, on the hill, but with your parasol and your little fluffy stuff. And then I see me as that dog who just rolled in dead skunk and shit, running through, about to pummel you. That's how I see your book.
That's a little extreme.
But no, it's the truth because I add that chaos, that just dirty chaos. It is. And I am not a fine print person. I'm more graffiti.
Graffiti.
Yeah, so I'm more of a graffiti type person and you're more of a fine print. And so that's just how I see your book cover. I see you going up to this beautiful idealistic dream of yours and being totally wiped out by a stinky dog. And not just any stinky dog, but one that targets specifically you. Because out of this entire environment, he could go anywhere, but he specifically looks at you with your little parasol umbrella and your little fluffiness, and he's like, yes, that's the one that I want to pummel because I want that person to like me. And so, do you not think?
Push me in the mud.
Do you not think that that's what I did? Think about our relationship and how it developed. And I was never this demure girl that waited for you to invest in. Like I never waited on you for anything until you deployed, and then I was that person waiting at home. That was sucky, but it made me awesome, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think that it made you awesome too,
He persevered in a lot of ways.
as did you. I can actually see partially what the struggle really was about whenever I was away from home and my parents worried. It sort of humbled me, right? Because I moved out at 14. I got moved back for a little bit, got married at 17 the first time, and Pop Smoke, So I've been gone for a really long time. And I'll look at Lucas, who is 12. In 2 years, he'll be the age I was when I first left.
It's crazy when you think of it that way.
I, I don't want to think of it because I'm looking at Quentin at 18 and going, is he going to move out? Because you were at home, right? That was part of your story. You were at home before me.
Yeah, that was after I got out of the Army the first time, and I was going to college. And my parents were like, because we lived like 30 minutes away from the school, which at the time was Texas A&M Commerce. And so I went to school, for a little while I lived at home and figure out what I was going to do with my life after the Army.
We've lived weird lives.
We have.
I don't think they're necessarily interesting as much as weird.
Eclectic.
Did you really say eclectic?
Dynamic, even.
I am responding to Carol. She said it's still spinning, but we see it fine. But we see it fine. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it's just her internet acting janky. But what would you have for a book cover for me? Do you suppose?
Oh, that's easy. A desk.
You just called me easy.
No, what you would have as a book cover?
Right. It's the story of my life.
It would be a desk, a working desk, and everything in its place. Perfectly.
That sounds like heaven. That would be that, yeah. Oh, if everything had a drawer. That's what it would be called. If everything had a drawer.
It would be like the most perfect example of symmetry.
Oh, that gives me that nice feeling that people get when they listen to ASMR. Like, if I visualize just what color would the desk be? I want to hear. I'm visualizing. Paint it.
Okay.
And no hot tin roofs.
No. Okay. Desk is just as lined up as, it's streamlined, so it's dark like this. So it's black, but it's nice. And
mahogany, and executive mahogany, chestnut even.
Do you want it to be?
I kind of do. I just like saying chestnut.
Okay, well, we can make it.
You're a writer.
One of those big old mahogany desks like Kuther probably has.
Oh yeah.
And then and then everything on that everything's in its perfect place.
So soothing. Can I have 3 monitors too?
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm actually running 4 sometimes. So sometimes I have my tablet and my laptop going. Why do you choose that? Why do you choose a desk in particular?
Because you're doing the job that you feel that was what pulled you through life to this point. This is what you're supposed to be doing, and in doing that job requires a desk, and your desk has to be very orderly.
So, but how does that encompass my life in general?
Because the fact that the desk and the cover would be so dressed, it would speak to your OCD tendency. Yeah. And then you can put items on the desk that relate to your life.
Oh yeah, see, that would be nice. Yeah, like office supplies. If I had to lay out my life, it would be an office supplies. I do like them. I keep noticing that I still have moths in here, and I think that I had them in the chinchilla food. I think that that's where they're coming from, because whenever I open it up, there they are. And I actually looked up whether or not it was healthy for the chinchillas to have them, and it said it was. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it. Let them eat them.
Extra protein.
Yeah, kind of like us. We are allowed a certain amount of insects in our food, according to the FDA.
Well, I mean, there might be
There's an acceptable range
based
of
on the
insects.
fact that there's a statistic for the amount of bugs people eat in their life while they're asleep.
But you know what messes me up, though, is I'm a vegetarian for a reason, right? For a reason. I don't want any creature to be harmed in the making of something I'm consuming. And so it's tough for me. Even eggs sometimes are periodically tough. Like I can do them only occasionally. And cheese I don't do often. And you made me the most spectacular stuffed mushrooms, and there was cream cheese and Parmesan, right?
Yeah.
In it, and I have to take a lactose pill. Huh?
Yeah. I was like, is it called Lactate or something?
Yeah, I have to take one of those pills because I'm old apparently, and I don't digest the dairy, and so I take one of those first, and then I take the bite of it, and I realize how much I can taste the animal. Like how much, and that's what turns me off. And so I have to process through it that taste in particular of dairy, that taste of animal. You know what I'm talking about, right? And it's one of my clients best described it as the smell of a dish that's had an egg in it from the dishwasher. So and my sister said the same thing. Shannon said the same thing. She doesn't like to drink out of a glass out of the dishwasher. If it has had an egg in it, you can still smell the egg in it.
Right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, so that smell is what I taste whenever I eat eggs or dairy.
Well, that sucks.
Like cheese and stuff. Yeah, but, I can process through it because it's much worse in my mind than it actually is, and I know that. I know it just because I have my issues.
Yeah.
And those issues are the skunk that I rolled in and the poop that I rolled in and then pummeled you with it. So that's what I was talking about whenever I said that I add chaos to you. But for the fact...
That's because your order, and your order is my chaos.
But for the fact that I have OCD, which is a very orderly thing, you would have no chaos in your life. That's the messed up part, right?
Things might fall into some sort of place.
we feed each
the dust
other.
might settle.
We feed each other because to me, you are straight-laced and prudish. The fine print, and you're describing your life as chaos, right? And I describe mine, as needing that chaos. But your life to me is actually very orderly. And so...
It just looked orderly.
Well, really, it looked orderly because everyone was doing everything for you. Your life looked orderly because everything that you've done in your life, you had someone in charge of.
What do you mean?
Because you gave your life over to everybody. Everyone else made your decisions for you.
Yeah, like the army and everything.
Yeah, so it felt chaotic to you because you had no control. You gave it away.
Yeah.
And to everyone else, it looked like you had it together because you weren't controlling anything. Because you were just working the system.
Yeah, it's kind of like they just put you on a path and you just need to walk the path.
Yeah,
it's not difficult.
Put your blinders on, don't get influenced, and just drive on, right? And you used to say that all the time. It would piss me off. Drive on. As a matter of fact, your son, Quentin, whenever he was little, he actually asked me, I was having a moment, you were deployed, and I was losing my shit, and he did not speak very often, but when he did, it was very profound. And he said, do you need a straw and keys? And I go, what? do I need a straw and keys? And he said, do you need a straw and keys? And I was like, why, buddy? Why would I need that? And he goes, so you could suck it up and drive on. And I was like, how did he even hear that? He wasn't even in school yet.
You got coached.
Yeah, this was pre-Arizona.
By like a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? This is not on Diego. This is not Diego that you're doing right now. I don't like this. So it made me pay closer attention. It really did, because it was that shock that I needed, you know. What shock did you need that you realized, wow, I might be a little rigid? Because clearly Quentin was telling me that I was chaotic at that moment. Because I wasn't driving on. I was being frazzled and stuff.
Right, right.
And to me, I see you very much as rigid in thought, because you've allowed other people to control aspects of your life, right? So you allowed other people to control aspects of your life so you could keep your principles, so you could be rigid in thought. In other words, you weren't free thinking about your life.
Right.
Okay?
Because I'm not in control of it anyway, so
right.
why bother?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So what would you have in your mind?
God, I keep losing it.
Okay, so Quentin told me to suck it up and drive on. So what was the moment that you had whenever you understood you were being too rigid?
I think when I started to gain awareness and see that, you know, some of my behaviors and some
right,
of the,
but
the
I just want what instant, maybe the kid, maybe me, something that struck you.
One time, I think it was Lucas or Oliver. I was sitting on the couch back whenever I was gaming a lot, and they had gotten frustrated about something, and they said something hateful to the situation that they were in, but they said it in the same exact way that I would have said it.
The same inflection?
Yeah, and that kind of was a sort of sobering moment for me.
Do you remember Quentin used to say, dang dog it, dang dog it? He was so upset when he would play games. Dang dog it.
Dang dog it.
I miss that little sweet kid, do you?
Yeah, yes I do.
Because now he's just doing his own thing. And that's why we're kidnapping other people for date night, is because we sort of considered date night, I think, private for a while, just you and I, but then we realized that the kids consumed our thoughts anyway. And it was really a good time for us to take a minute with them, because it's Friday night, ain't got no job, ain't got shit to do. But now we just make other people watch us.
We're not making anybody do anything, obviously.
Oh, please. You know what? I'm going to be calling people up and messaging people and saying, you better watch our live videos. Because if you don't watch our live videos, we're just going to keep doing them. All right? We're going to keep doing live videos until you start watching them. And then when you start watching them, and it starts to sink in and you really, really enjoy it, we're just going to cancel it. See, that's the plan. Because you got to go out on the top.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have that slow climb to the top. And then you don't want anybody to watch you climb down, do you?
No.
Okay, so if you don't want anybody watching you climb down or fall down, or roll down, then you quit while you're ahead. So if y'all watch the videos and y'all, really get into it, then we'll quit doing it. So all you have to do is tell literally everybody you know to sign up and watch us. And because we think we're interesting, at least I think Beth is interesting and she thinks I'm interesting. So, and together I think we've done interesting things. And if y'all are on here, you can ask us questions. We can talk about it. But we can also hear about your experiences. Because we like perspective, don't we?
Absolutely.
Because we didn't know that we were interesting or weird until people started telling us that.
Yeah, I mean, we're just living life like anybody else.
And the one thing that I've heard the most is, do you have any idea how unique it is that y'all live this way? I hadn't really thought about it at all. Like, up to that point that they asked me that, I never even put into perspective how we live. It's like, for me, this is a typical Friday night. I would, go and get snacks or whatever with you and come home, and we would chill and Netflix and chill, right?
Yeah, basically.
And
pig out.
Yeah, make ourselves disgusting because it's all about self-indulgence on Friday night. That's what it is. Self-indulgence. That's what it is for me, at least.
Hedonism and debauchery.
It totally is. God, Friday night's fantastic. And it's usually because I've been so caught up in work and I just need to, do nothing. I need to not think. I need to be entertained.
Yeah.
See, we talked about that. So maybe instead of eating junk food, I can read a book.
Yeah. If
Maybe
I
a
read
nutrition
right now, I'm
book,
gonna
right?
Go to sleep.
No, you would
I
not
need
if
some
you read the right
explosions and
one.
action. Yeah, that's a good book.
Yeah, that is a good book. Anyway, okay, well, we're going to stop and we're going to blow off some steam. And it kind of felt good, though, to just chill and chat with everybody. We have to work on this lighting situation because I look like, there we go. See, now I look sweet, don't I? And young?
Of course.
Because you said that I look old.
No, I said you look like you're in your mid-30s.
And that's old.
That's not old.
It's old.
Not old.
Then
Mid-40s.
if that's not old, then tell me, pray tell, why did you say that you were 29?
Because I have to be younger than you.
Do you see my point right now?
Shh, get over yourself. You know how it is.
I don't know how it is, babe, because I slung Avon for a good long while just so I could have the products.
You were 29 until about 7 years ago.
Well, whatever. I was not 29 for that long. I was 19. I was 19 for that long. Now, technically, I'm just 7. Anyway, well, I love you, baby. Thank you for doing everything that you do. And thank you for being part of my book. And the one that Carol's going to write, right?
Can't wait.
Thanks for letting me be the dog. That's my favorite part. I'm a dog just like Widow, smiling the whole way, just knowing that I'm about to get that umbrella. Love you. Thank you, guys. Bye.